Good afternoon, everyone. Let's get rolling. It's Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Halloween 10:31. Just got off the road. I would put on a Halloween suit for you all, but I've been wearing them all weekend. Extremely sore from dancing, but glad to be back in the charts. I've been away I haven't been in the charts Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so that's a long time for me. So catching back up with everything and ready to look at it all with you all. So appreciate you all tuning in. Thanks for the likes. Hope you had a great weekend as well. Let's look at the NASDAQ first. I care more about the NASDAQ than the S&P 500 right now. First off, we got the FOMC Wednesday. So everything that I'm going to be saying is going to be talking about the next 2 days with the big asterisk saying Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, FOMC is going to dictate a lot about how this week ends up. But heading into it, we can certainly get prepared for both directions. So the NASDAQ has been weighed down by tech sector earnings last week. And we had bearish reactions initially from Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and Meta. And as I've been saying, the fact that SPY closed at the high of the week last week is nothing short of astounding, considering how big and bearish some of those reactions were, specifically Meta and Amazon. But Big Green Day Friday was not able to break resistance. So the NASDAQ is within a tightening range right now. And we've got 12-hour. So I'm just viewing this as a good old-fashioned tightening range with our low, high, double bottom, lower high, and now we're scouting a 12-hour high or low. So we're tightening up here, and it's entirely possible we break bull or break bear. And I do believe that it may be the FOMC that dictates. Let's see, we got 2 full trading days from right now left. So it's possible we continue to tighten up until then. The simple statement is if the NASDAQ bulls are unable to break this double top of resistance, then obviously bulls aren't going anywhere. And that would be a signal for bears. That would be notable for me. There's things that we're getting little bits and pieces of caution. So the first sign of caution is the NASDAQ is not breaking resistance and there's a double top. The second sign of caution for bulls is the dollar breaking weekly support straight into a notable bounce. Granted, we are just looking for a daily lower high to be the result of this bounce, but as we look at retracement size, we can see that it's pushing 50%. So even just a little bit more upside, and we're going to start viewing this as a big enough bounce to scout a daily high or low. So the bulls are attempting to shape up a big enough bounce to confirm the trend change. But again, it's going to be the FOMC reaction, which either has us heading back up towards resistance in the upper 113s or heading back down towards the recent low of support. So when I look at the dollar, we'll go back to this chart in just a moment because there's a crypto chart on a different time frame that looks a lot like this chart to me. So it's DOGE, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. But for now, it's a confirmed weekly downtrend for the dollar, lack of follow through, holding weekly EMA 12 support. So dollar bulls are able to justify saying, okay, well, we're still holding on just fine. And broader market bulls are saying, okay, I need to be cautious of this because we're still holding weekly EMA 12 as we have all year. Bitcoin also has some caution. The caution for Bitcoin is the daily bull flag confirming. When we last checked in on Wednesday, what we were saying was, or what I was saying was, the next major information that we're going to get is what is the response to next daily consolidation. We know it's inevitable. It happened very shortly after, and we saw continuation. But it's a double top because Bitcoin only broke resistance by $60 or so, which is a fraction of a percent. So at this point in time, we have, again, anytime you break support or resistance with no follow through, we scout rising wedges or falling wedges. And so here we have Bitcoin breaking resistance with no follow through. And so I'd be watching something like this. And I would say that we're already breaking it bare. So that would just be a visual guide. Now I go to the price levels, which matters more to me. And I can see, okay, well, even if we hold 20,000 support, we have to be cautious of a head and shoulders on the 12-hour now. So Bitcoin is showing us some relative weakness where if you look at Bitcoin divided by NASDAQ, we can see that today, well, we're pretty much doing the same thing as Friday, but the last few days, we've been weaker than the NASDAQ is what it boils down to. So Bitcoin bulls are a bit cautious. We are rejecting from weekly EMA 12. Again, it's not a coincidence that the dollar is bouncing off weekly EMA 12 as Bitcoin and other assets struggle at weekly EMA 12 resistance. Copper is doing the same thing. Copper is rejecting from weekly EMA 12 for the 6th time or however many times in the last few months. So we are watching the inverse relationship to the dollar, and there are a little bit of cautionary red flags. The Bitcoin position that I have, again, as I mentioned, I'm just keeping a break-even stop down at 19.3 thousand. And if we drop down to that level, I'll do the exact same thing as last time, which is stop out break even and then patiently wait and reassess. And from the last time that I stopped out break even, I was then waiting and waited weeks before my next entry. 2 weeks. So I'm just going to let it play out, and I will either stop out or we'll get a bullish reaction to the FOMC, and that position will get more comfortable. But all about the 12-hour for now. That's where I'm finding clarity on a lot of altcoins and on Bitcoin itself. We know Ethereum has been stronger than Bitcoin on this move up. The higher high here has a lot more follow through. The top was 1595, and then we get to 1664. That's follow through of 5% or so. So very different than a double top. We set a 12-hour higher low, but weakness today. Again, a red flag to drop all the way back down. Bull still defending here at these lows, but just we're starting to get some red flags. Really what I imagine is going on is just profit taking. You know, we've been in a bear market. The bulls have been bouncing nicely for 3 weeks. We have the unknown FOMC event coming on Wednesday. So it's logical to assume that some of what's going on right now is bulls taking profit into the FOMC and that unknown event. So Ethereum is consolidating on the daily with anything above 1479 as a daily high or low. The hourly RSI is approaching oversold. We haven't gotten there yet to see if it's a good back burner. It's been front run a bit. The hourly RSI has gotten into the low 30s, but hasn't gotten to oversold. So if we confirm an hourly bear flag here, then I'd be looking for hourly oversold conditions, heading to daily EMA 12 support, and that would be more of a day trade bounce to be watching for. Because again, the unknown of the FOMC would have me, well, I mean, you could try and position for a break even. Okay, let's go over this real quick. How would I turn a day trade into a potential swing trade for the FOMC? Let's just say this hourly bear flag confirms. We head to hourly oversold conditions and we drop down towards 1500. I would be watching for an hourly oversold bounce play, scaling in 1 to 3 orders, or I should say 2 to 3 orders, and allocating the size of my position and the spacing of those positions based on the dollar risk I'm willing to take on that trade. Then if I get filled and a bounce gets going, I would look to sell partial to be able to set a break even or low risk stop under whatever that low is. Then we get the FOMC reaction. If it's bearish, I stop out break even or tiny loss. And if it's bullish, I then have a position benefiting from that bull move. So essentially just trying to position for a low risk, high reward scenario heading into the FOMC. The only time I will hold positions into an unknown event like the FOMC is in that manner. If I have a real nice profit cushion on a position, I will hold through it. Or if I can maneuver to set my stop, and it's, you know, when you get the FOMC reaction, you definitely get fake outs. So it's entirely possible, you know, you drop down and stop out right before a bull move. That's just part of the game and part of the reactions, but that doesn't mean we can't still attempt to make those low risk entries. So whenever I'm playing an unknown event like the FOMC, that's really the only way that I'll have any kind of notable open position. ETHBTC pulling back as well, not as close to oversold conditions and a little bit stronger. The support here held a little bit more convincingly, not much of a difference, but if we look at that last low here on Ethereum of 1553, we broke below that level by, 0.6%, whereas ETHBTC pretty much a double bottom by 0.1%. So slightly stronger, which is good for the bulls, but again, we are seeing consolidation across most of the cryptocurrency space right now, if we pull up our list here, there's a lot more green this morning. So pulling back a bit here today. And also keeping an eye on the broader market. I am currently in a top fishing short on the NASDAQ, where I entered bearish, exited half, stop is over the high of the day. Those lines are not good. And we just have the 15-minute tightening range now. So high, low, lower high. And that's, me getting back to I haven't looked at the charts once today, aside from pre-market, before hitting the road. And so I get back and I'm just looking for, okay, where is the most clarity for me? And I sat down an hour ago, a little more than an hour ago, and it was clearly the 15-minute. Like, okay, that's a big enough pullback. I'm scouting a 15-minute lower high on SPY and QQQ. All right, it's now set. Scouting a higher low, just looking for the tightening range on the time frame that has the most clarity. So we should see the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 here break before the end of the day within its tightening range. And obviously that's going to dictate a lot in terms of the probability of whether or not Bitcoin is an hourly bear flag right now. Doge. So is Doge a pump and dump? I'm saying no. And the reason I'm saying no is we haven't dumped yet. If it was going to be a pump and dump, we would have dropped harder from that top 2 days ago. The other reason it's not a pump and dump for me is there's a dangling carrot. So as we talked about in the last live stream, someone asked about SHIB and I said, I wouldn't really, I'd be focusing on Doge here, not SHIB. And the reason is Doge has the dangling carrot. Doge has the headlines with Musk. That's the fuel for this fire, in addition to an extremely tight range. So we were very, very tight. And now there's this new potential news catalyst. And I forget what I say publicly versus privately, so I might be repeating myself, but the more we run into actual known tangible news, for example, Elon Musk saying, yes, we're going to incorporate Doge into payments or tips or whatever on Twitter, the more we run into that, the more likely it's to be a sell the news event. So if we get, a bearish reaction in crypto to FOMC and Dogecoin pulls back on the daily time frame, that for me means it's less likely to be a sell the news event. And it is notable news, right? It's a lot of attention, and it's a big factor to have, a cryptocurrency be utilized on a major platform. So we can be watching for back burner trades here on Dogecoin. And we obviously have a tightening range right now, but hourly has not come close to first oversold. If we look at the 15-minute time frame, we got it once, and the one time that we've gotten it since this pop, that was the time to be buying. So 15-minute back burner working well for bulls. We can see the 5-minute RSI has also gotten oversold a couple times. And again, 5-minute oversold has been a decent time to buy. I would rather be going off the 15-minute personally because it has a better success rate, but at least the last few 5-minute oversolds, you can see that bulls responded really well to it. So bulls are buying the dip. And again, that to me is proving staying power on this move. We have bigger picture, a big monthly bounce underway. You can call this a monthly uptrend. It's a weak bounce. It's a higher low and a higher high. Granted, zoom out to the 6-month chart, and we're going to be looking for a lower high compared to that all-time high. But I care more about the short-term price action. We've got a daily stair-step pattern. We're going to be watching for first oversold hourly conditions for a bounce play. We're going to be scouting a daily higher low to be the result of next consolidation. And again, this is not a pump and dump for me because there is that dangling carrot of legitimate news. Now, if Elon were to come out and say something like, we don't have any plans of implementing Dogecoin at this point, it's going to dump hard. So obviously keep that in mind as well. But as long as there's no news, there's the dangling carrot of potential bullish news. So daily inside bar yesterday, very likely to form another one today, and very likely to break the inside bars tomorrow. If it's an inside bar bear break, we scout hourly oversold and we scout a daily higher low. If it's an inside bar bull break, we're going to test the recent highs. What this Dogecoin chart reminds me of, and this is something that you want to try and develop as a skill as a technical analyst, when you look at 80,000 charts, you have them as a library in your brain, and you want to be able to look around at things and say, this chart looks like this time in the past, or this chart looks like this current setup. And that just helps with familiarity and can help with looking for similar setups. But what Dogecoin did on the 4-hour confirmed a downtrend with a lower low. The lower low saw zero follow through and held EMA 12. What does that look like? That looks like the dollar weekly chart. So I'm obviously not suggesting that the dollar is following Dogecoin, but I'm saying it's the same technical setup. A bull move, higher low, lower high, bear break with zero follow through, holding EMA 12. And if I'm a broader market bear, I want to see the dollar on the weekly time frame do exactly what Doge did, which is break support, zero follow through into a multiple candle bounce. So we got the dollar breaking support with zero follow through. So far it's a one candle bounce. FOMC is going to dictate whether or not it's a multiple candle bounce, but it's the same setup as far as a preceding bull move, a break of support with no follow through. And we know that when we break support with no follow through, we scout bull flags. And so Doge is attempting a 12-hour bull flag after a confirmed 4-hour downtrend with zero follow through. Now the other scenario is to watch for a tightening range here with our high, low, and anything under 1515 is just a 12-hour lower high. And again, we know after we have significant volatility in both directions, and we can certainly call this significant volatility in both directions because the pullback was 26%. We look for tightening ranges, just one time frame to the next. So I'm keeping an eye out for a 12-hour lower high compared to 1515. Again, everything that I say with these current setups is the asterisk of FOMC is Wednesday, which is going to have a major impact here. But essentially, the first indication that a 12-hour lower high is being set would be a loss of this hourly uptrend. Right now, anything above 11.5 is an hourly high or low. If we lose the hourly uptrend, 12-hour lower high is being set. So I like the 12-hour time frame for clarity. And we know that, once we have the clarity on the 12-hour, we zoom into the hourly to then be looking for the details of that setup. Doge BTC, do we have any clues? Nope, it's doing the exact same thing for me. So again, I always want to check if there's clues, but very often there aren't. And it's just a spotlight doing the same thing as the US dollar pairing. Binance continues to be a lead bull. We've been talking about Binance being a lead bull throughout this entire bear market because BNBBTC keeps hitting all-time highs, which keeps showing us that it is the strongest Binance has ever been compared to Bitcoin. And in a bear market, that's extremely notable. So we've got a daily stair step here on Binance, higher low every single day for the last 10 days. Potentially a little volume climax right now and a double top at resistance. So we're certainly not bullish at the moment. I'm not looking for a bullish entry up here. If I have a bullish position that I'm not going to sell, I'm scouting a hedge. And aggressive bears are scouting a top fish play here. And they were already rewarded once, where we pulled back a decent bit from that high. Certainly enough to get risk-free. But we will look for a daily higher low to be the result of next consolidation. And we are trying to confirm the monthly uptrend, the little higher low and higher high. So I would call it a double top at resistance right now. We are definitely overbought. And what the bears want to see is a confirmed hourly downtrend. Fail 338 and break hourly support of 321 to confirm the hourly downtrend and to shape up potentially the start of daily consolidation. But again, Binance BTC, just weekly continuation, EMA 12 support, higher highs, and it is just the strongest crypto altcoin out there. Not short term, but if you're looking on a swing trading or investment perspective, Binance is as strong as it gets in the altcoin world. Obviously, Dogecoin has blown it out of the water the last 3 days, but that's a 3-day window versus a 12-month horizon or whatever we're looking at. So keep it simple. Binance is a lead bull as long as the weekly higher lows remain. When they are lost, it'll be a standout for us. We will be paying close attention to it. But until that happens, lead bull status. It's just an extremely strong name. So bulls will be scouting the same thing. First hourly oversold conditions, scouting a daily higher low to be the result of next consolidation. And for me, the most likely scenario here is an hourly lower high to be the result of this bounce. Sand. So I talked about entering a sand position, I think, last Wednesday live stream. And my entry was in the 77s. So honestly, I forget what day. I think I entered it Wednesday. It might have been Tuesday. Either way, I made an entry, and the intention was I want to see the weakest altcoins follow ADA. ADA led the way and said, watch out, bears. It's not easy street anymore. Here's a little short squeeze. And from there, I was then looking for the other weakest names to have a laggard move. And on this candle on Thursday, I thought, that was the attempt and it failed. And there's been multiple times in swing positions that I've had the last couple of weeks. And stock INTC and MARA, same thing. You know, a week from last Thursday, I entered those positions. And I thought, the price action isn't doing what I want it to do, and I'm likely going to stop out. And if I didn't, sit on my hands and say, just let the trade play out. If you stop out and hit your stop loss, then you always anticipated that that was going to happen. And again, whenever I enter a trade, I mentally say, all right, my stop loss is hit. I lost this much money. And so I let them play out, and they play out nicely. And it's just a reminder to myself, just an example, INTC from a couple weeks ago, I entered on this day, and I thought, we started looking good on the morning, but this trade is probably going to fail, and I'm probably going to stop out. And if I had reacted to those thoughts, I would have exited right before a significant leg higher. So the point is, it was the same thing for me in sand. After that red day, was that the Thursday? Yeah. So it did the same thing as no, that was a week ago. Anyways, it did something very similar, and, we're not breaking out, still weak, but letting the trade play out. It's either going to hit my target or hit my stop loss. And if it hits neither of those things, I'm not doing anything with it. And so benefiting from that, all that said, it's a very small position. So I would like more, but I'm not going to add anything unless it's daily consolidation, because a daily higher low will be the most likely result of the next pullback. But again, just looking for Sand BTC. You can see this is the most bullish we've seen Sand BTC in a few weeks, or I should say a couple months. But what do we need? We need follow through and consistency. So just higher lows and higher highs have to keep going. Meta is getting absolutely trashed after earnings. Meta is giving back like 7 years of gains. We're testing, 6-year levels. And so we know that Sand and Mana are tied at the hip. Well, I won't say that. They're tied to Meta in terms of the sector and in terms of Meta news leading to the Mana and Sand all-time high run and that pump. And it's almost like, I wonder if at this point, is it bullish for Meta to fail the metaverse? I don't know. But Meta is in free fall. And it's nice to see Mana and Sand getting some upside from being really weak, just as weak as Meta has been, but not over the last 4 days or so. Checking back in on stocks real quick. 15 minutes still tightening up, so that's pretty much the day here. We got an hour and a half left. We're just going to tighten up and likely break into the end of the day. And not expecting fireworks, but it will at least give us some short-term clarity into this range. CGC, cannabis with a big breakout day. Cannabis keeps getting those headlines heading into midterm elections. All right, so Sand BTC, any clues? Nope, doing the same thing. 4-hour equilibrium. So Sand USDT, same thing. So tightening range, this 4-hour tightening range is going to break within the next few candles. If it's a bear break, daily consolidation will be likely underway. If it's a bull break, we're going to test the recent highs. So tightening up nicely. And again, if you're not in a position, this tells you Sand and Mana, well, let's see what Mana is weaker, right? Yeah. Sand is going to see volatility pick up tomorrow. Well, I won't say tomorrow. I'll say within the next 12 hours, Sand is going to break this range and there's going to be volatility. And as a trader, that means there's going to be opportunity when this range breaks. So, watching closely to see the direction that it does break. Why did I choose Sand over Mana? Because again, we can use our correlation charts. Sand USDT divided by Mana USDT was doing the same thing for a period of time. When I made my entry, we had the daily uptrend confirmed. We had broken resistance, granted with no follow through, but if at that point I have to choose one or the other, I'm choosing the one that has the uptrend, because it shows us that Sand has been a bit stronger than Mana pretty much since October 15th. And that is playing out very nicely, as Sand is now the strongest it's been comparative to Mana in the last 3 months. So chose the right one, and the only reason I chose the right one, again, it has absolutely nothing to do with fundamentals. The only reason I chose the right one is because I have been learning over the last 3 or 4 years how to utilize these correlation charts and in the crypto world with altcoins compared to Bitcoin, but now branching out and using this useful tool and this useful skill set in other ways. And so it would be nice if my position size was larger and I would care more about this move, but profit's profit, and I'll look for more on daily consolidation. MATIC was weakening a little bit, changing from a lead bull into a potential lead bear. Is that still the case? I believe it is. MATIC BTC is showing us relative weakness. So I think we started to talk about this last week, but MATIC BTC confirmed this rising wedge and confirmed a daily downtrend. And so MATIC USDT is still holding on, but we can see we haven't hit a fresh high since we topped out 5 days ago. And there's a ton of altcoins that have. So MATIC has been weakening a little bit, and now it's the same. Well, I shouldn't say it's the same. Now it is a 12-hour equilibrium. Bulls really want to hold this low of 893. If we don't, we confirm the daily downtrend on both pairings. The BTC pairing will have given a heads up in advance, and we'll be watching for the potential of weekly consolidation. But just a shift from being a lead bull, and I won't call it a lead bear, but it just has lost its lead bull status over the last 5 days. Link USDT is another lead bull the last few days, 854 resistance, and pulling back from that level and shaping up for the potential of 4-hour consolidation here. So we're going to look for a 4-hour high or low, but if I'm an aggressive bear and not in a position, what I want to see is a big enough link pullback to then scout a 4-hour lower high, put my stop over that high, and hope that we confirm the 4-hour downtrend to shape up daily consolidation with a resistance rejection into a daily pullback. So we can be scouting bearish in crypto right now because of the red flags that we have on the bull side of things with the dollar and with the Bitcoin double top. I would just want to ensure that I'm playing off of stop levels. We are not in a market environment in crypto where I want to scale into a short. You know, I scale into bounces all the time. I love doing it when things are extreme. But as we see this shift and as we see ADA mini short squeeze, DOGE mini short squeeze, I mean, think about how many people blew up their account on this DOGE pop in the last few days. A lot of people did. Oh, it's just a meme coin. Oh, this is a joke. It's going to fade, blah, blah, blah. Whatever was going on in their head to justify to themselves to scale in short with no stop loss led to a blown up account. So I do not like shorting, scaling into this environment. I like recognizing initial signs of weakness and then playing off of a resistance level. So MATIC, you know, we had a top fish here, scouting a daily lower high. We topped out at 97, we'll call it. We topped out then at 96. So that's the low risk kind of bear trade that we should be looking at in this environment, looking for the potential of daily consolidation or weekly consolidation even. But again, I just don't like, when you're in an environment where there's a lot of shorts and we are coming from full bear control, you just got to be really cautious because the moves can be fast and hard. When liquidity is low and everybody's hitting the ask, things move quickly. So we have to protect against that. Doge still strong, little hourly stair step here. So again, I am anticipating a 12-hour lower high unless we see increasing bullish 4-hour volume, but we're about to see lower 4-hour volume on this current candle So slight edge for me, where a 12-hour lower high is the more likely scenario, at least initially. You know, I'm not looking for a 12-hour downtrend to confirm, but I'm looking for a tightening 12-hour range. All right, XRP, we'll look at that in just a second. Howdy from Portugal, I want to go there. So XRP, I recently highlighted XRP to keep an eye on, and the reason I did that was just because of its BTC pairing chart. So look at Link BTC and how this shaped up. Just a little snake drop with the lower lows lacking follow through. What do lower lows lacking follow through mean? Falling wedge. So 12-hour on Link BTC, there's your downtrending support. Here's your downtrending resistance, bull breakout. Okay? So now look at XRP BTC. Let's compare the two. So that's XRP BTC on the daily. Here's Link BTC on the daily. They sure, well, let's fix this. But they sure look real similar from here to here. So, again, let's just recall. That's, I just saw this chart when I looked at Link an hour ago. So it doesn't mean that, I have high conviction that this is going to break bull, but it means that watch for signs that this is potentially shaping up. We bottomed, we inside barred, and then we broke out. And today is shaping up an inside bar, so keeping an eye on it. And again, it's just trying to position for a low risk, high reward trade. So what XRP USDT needs to do is hold 443 and shape up a 4-hour trend change back to the bulls here. So there's our low, lower high, pretty much a double bottom here. And bulls need to get over 463 to confirm a 4-hour uptrend and hold this daily support level. So worth keeping an eye on. Obviously, if Bitcoin gets real weak and breaks 20,000 and gets followed through, then a bull trade is probably not going to do very well. But again, there's a setup where we can look for a potential bottom fish play off this double bottom. And in an ideal world, we then see XRP relative strength as that XRP BTC chart tries to break bull from that falling wedge. Also, in conjunction with that information, what's the most likely scenario on this weekly chart? Weekly high or low. Weekly EMA 12 support coming into play. So there's other little pieces of the puzzle that can sway the probability a little bit for the potential of an XRP BTC bull break. Link BTC was also a weekly high or low, bit of a different setup, but again, you get the idea. Just something to keep an eye on. Theta. So the first thing I care about is what is Theta doing versus BTC, because I know what BTC looks like and I just want to know, is it stronger or weaker? So stronger the last few days. Okay, now I got to look at Theta USDT and see stair step pattern, breaking bear, no red flags. That's inevitable. After a very strong rally, daily consolidation is inevitable. Still 382 retracement. Keep it simple. If daily EMA 12 is support, it's a potential bull flag. First hourly, haven't seen first hourly oversold conditions. This is a bit of a megaphone here on the hourly recently. So we can just use these trend lines as a bit of a visual guide to keep an eye on. Something like that. I would anticipate an hourly lower high as the most likely result of the current bounce. The bulls would need to regain an hourly uptrend for the first step towards setting a daily high or low. But I can say right now that there are no red flags in this daily consolidation for Theta. Theta BTC doing the same thing. Very similar. No clues there, but trying to set the daily high or low as well. Keep an eye on 6-1 here. 6-1 is the highest, the strongest that Theta has been compared to Bitcoin in 2.5 months. It would be notable if that level were to break. And again, it's just another example of this Theta USDT chart where someone scaled into a short here and blew up their account. Just, oh, this move's fake. We're going to consolidate. I'm going to start shorting at, 105. And then, this is getting away from me. I'm down 10%. I'm going to double down. Again, just protect against these shifts in the market environment. Just like when the bulls have full control and then the rug gets pulled, it happens in both directions. All right, I got to get going here. I appreciate you all tuning in. 15 minute, trying to test resistance and break bull here. So S&P 500 resistance test. If we reject, we'll break in the final hour of trading. All right, I appreciate you all. I'll try and find some footage out there from the music festival. There were a lot of people taking videos because I was getting down in a funny outfit. So I'll post that at some point. Don't forget to do good things. Appreciate you all tuning in, and we will check back in on FOMC day. I'm not going to live stream during the FOMC. I'll probably do it maybe noon or so, but I'll let you know. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for the likes. Let's get 100. 67. Guys.